Mic check 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3 4. Mic check 1 2 3 4. Mic check 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. Mic check 1 2 3 4. Check check 1 2. Mic test 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. Y'all good?
I think we're in the right place.
Yes, sir.
How'd you get involved in the program?
It was a decision that I made. I wanted to see my CDL. I checked with other schools. This school, we had a streamlined process. One other school, it took like 2 months. And
Am I late for that?
That's right. Because
I just wanted to see.
they made it happen with this meeting. Then after that, they made the registration and matriculated into the program. A week later, I was doing my online training. A few weeks after that, I had my CDL.
Good morning. Thank you all for gathering here today. My name is Dr. Cherie Johnson. I am the Vice President of External Affairs, Communications, and Advancement at Prince George's Community College. On behalf of our college president, Dr. Felicia Williams, and the senior leadership team here at Prince George's Community College, as well as the Board of Trustees and our PGCC Foundation Board, we are pleased to welcome so many esteemed officials and the U.S. Department of Transportation to our campus. Workforce development is integral to the fabric of society and the American economy. In fiscal year 2023, the PGCC Transportation, Distribution, and Logistics departments trained over 500 students, and since the new fiscal year. That's right. Since July 1, we have also enrolled more than 300 students. Much like the Department of Transportation, we too are committed to the mission of providing safe, efficient, sustainable, and equitable commerce in our community. Today, we are honored to receive a Federal Motor Carrier Safety Program award that will benefit so many of our students interested in the transportation industry. In a few moments, you will hear from James Brackens, one of our recent CDL graduates who has lived in Maryland for over 40 years, and learn of his experiences in the program. But right now, I would like to introduce former Representative Mr. Patrick Murphy.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Cherie Johnson. We have all our bases covered here today, if you don't know. So I'm an Iraq War veteran, an Army veteran. Dr. Cherie Johnson's brother and her father are Air Force veterans. So the governor, I like to mention that the fact that the Air Force used to be the Army Air Corps, so they're like her little brother. So Dr. Johnson. But then we have obviously Secretary Buttigieg, who is a Navy veteran. So we have almost all of our bases covered. But it's an honor for all of us to be here today. I chair what's called Task Force Movement. It's a presidential task force to get more veterans in trucking, in cyber, and healthcare. But trucking, we're about 80,000 truck drivers short, and they're critical. They're in the front lines when we talk about 99% of the goods that we get, the last mile, are from truckers, whether it's over the road or not. So it's incredibly important. And this is a public-private partnership. And today's are public dollars, but we've raised over $15 million in a year and a half we've been there to provide scholarships to get veterans and disadvantaged Americans, disadvantaged communities, opportunities. And today is about access to opportunity. For all of us, and to me, it is personal. It's personal to me because I started at community college full-time. And my father was a trucker. My grandfather served in World War II in the Pacific with the Navy and did 20 years as a trucker in Philadelphia. My father, when he came back from Vietnam era veteran, came back in the Navy, came back and drove trucks as well. And when I was in community college, I worked at loading trucks. And it is an incredible profession where people can have a family-sustaining wage. So what you're doing here at Prince George's Community College, and Dr. Johnson, thank you so very much, because you are changing lives. The governor and I did stack the deck a little bit on Secretary Buttigieg, because James Bracken's the student you're going to hear. He's an Army veteran too. So, we are the largest branch, if you didn't know. But when you look at, we have two national leaders of the post-9/11 generation, and Secretary Buttigieg and Governor Wes Moore. And to me, it's a source of great personal pride when you have these two leaders that are moving the ball forward for our community and our nation. They both served in Afghanistan. They came back home, and they didn't stop their service. They want to continue to give back. We looked at them as far as the 2.6 million of us that served in Iraq or Afghanistan. We looked at them as folks that were so proud of their service, because they're showing others what opportunity is when you're given a chance. Our generation, our post-9/11 generation, hasn't necessarily been defined yet. The great World War II generation came back. It took decades before Tom Brokaw wrote that book, The Greatest Generation. But it's work that Governor Moore and Secretary Buttigieg are doing that's defining our generation of post-9/11 veterans. And that's why today is such a great day. So it's my honor to introduce another All-American. Governor Moore and I serve with the 82nd Airborne Division, the All-American Division, which is based in North Carolina. I know Governor Moore likes to point that him and Dr. Sheree Johnson both are Johns Hopkins graduates. We get that. But Dr. Johnson first went to University of North Carolina, which is home of the All-American Division, the 82nd Airborne Division. So with no further ado, an All-American and the 63rd Governor of the state of Maryland, Wes Moore.
All the way. All the way. Hey, Prince George's. How y'all doing? It's good being back. Y'all are so beautiful. This is what we call gorgeous Prince George's out here, everybody. Congressman Murphy, my airborne brother, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for not just a beautiful introduction, but also just for your leadership. This is a man who has served in so many different facets, whether it is in the military, whether it's elected office, whether it's appointed office. He's a person who consistently raises his hand to say yes, and our country is better off because of it. So bless you, and thank you so much for all you continue to do for all of us. And by the way, I just want to let everybody know, since we do have a bunch of Army folks here, y'all are secure. We're good. We're good. And also just Dr. Johnson, thank you so much. It is a joy being back here. And it's wild because I was just here a couple weeks ago. Yes, and last time we were here, the president was here, and we're talking about some work that's being done with community colleges. Last time we were here, we announced a grant that the state is making to all 16 of Maryland's remarkable community colleges, to include Prince George's County Community College. And it says so much about this administration that just weeks after the president came to Prince George's County Community College, that Secretary Buttigieg is here again as well. The secretary has really embodied what leadership continues to look like. And when you're looking at the transformational moves that are taking place within the Department of Transportation, when you're looking at a vision being applied, when you're looking at the fact that this is truly an administration that's making sure that each and every one of us are seen and heard and respected. You being here, Secretary Buttigieg, it means the world to each and every one of us. So bless you, and thank you so much for all you continue to do. And I have to tell you, when we talk about what partnership looks like, this is an epitome of what partnership looks like. Right? The reason that Maryland is going to win this next decade is because we're not just moving fast, we're moving together. Right? And when we talk about the fact that, what partnership means and what it looks like, it means the fact that just in our first 9 months, we've been able to announce things like the rebuilding of the Frederick Douglass Tunnel, connecting Baltimore to the rest of this country, done in partnership with Secretary Buttigieg, and he was there in Baltimore. We made that announcement as well. That moving in partnership and moving fast and moving together means things like the federal investment we received of $268 million going towards broadband, because we are going to make sure that every single section of this state is covered with broadband by the end of my first term, and we are going to get that done in partnership with this administration, with the federal government. And it means working in partnership with our community colleges. And we don't just say it because it sounds good, we say it because it's essential. And we say it because it is personal. Because like my airborne brother, Congressman Murphy, this event means a lot to me for two reasons. Both because, I think about the three pieces of jewelry that I wear every day. Each and every one of them represent my foundation and represent my motivation, right? The first one is my wedding ring, because I married my best friend 16 years ago, who continues to lift me up every single day. Yeah, yay, Dawn. Yay, Dawn. The second is the ring from my two-year college. Because as the congressman pointed out, I ended up graduating from Johns Hopkins and going on to Oxford, where actually I first had a chance to meet Secretary Buttigieg. And people say, well, why is it that you wear the ring from your two-year college? And my answer is because it's my foundation. Without this, none of this will be real. And so our support for community colleges is not just everlasting, it's personal. And I also know that the third thing that I wear are my dog tags. Because when I was 17 years old, I signed up to join the military. I was so young, I couldn't even sign the paperwork. My mother signed the paperwork for me. But after my teenage years, she was more than willing to sign whatever paperwork that they put in front of her. But I know that decision didn't just change my life, it changed my trajectory. What today represents is pathways. Pathways and opportunities, and making sure that every single person in our state is going to be seen and heard. And that we're talking about the deserving students that we have here at Prince George's County Community College, deserving students like that student and that young man from Greenbelt, who wants to be economically successful but knows that there is a way to do it without necessarily having to go get a 4-year degree if you choose not to do that. That we're talking to people like the single mom from Upper Marlboro, who when she gets home, she is to help her children with their homework before she starts to work on her own. And we're talking about people like someone who I have the honor to introduce, people like James Bracken, who's already served his country, but understands that service in uniform is not the only way that you can serve. It's making sure that you're seeing every single student who is walking through the halls and seeing them as they are, and letting them know that they're enough. The same thing that happened to me that gave me the opportunity to become the 63rd governor of the state of Maryland. That when we think about this kind of moment, this gathering, this importance, is that we now have a chance to announce an important investment, an important partnership in Prince George's County Community College in their commercial driver's license program. And knowing that today is about the opportunity for all of our students to be seen. We're here to celebrate the fact that what this investment is going to do today, it's going to give us an opportunity to make sure that people can get a good paying job, to have a chance to be able to sustain their families, to have a chance to be able to fulfill their dreams, and know that they're coming up in an institution, in a state, and in a country that supports that and makes it easier and doesn't make it harder. So every student that's here today, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up every day. And thank you for making every place and space that you're in better. Because that's exactly what you're doing. And so it is my distinct honor and pleasure to be able to turn the microphone over to someone who embodies what it means to keep on serving and to keep on leading and to do it in a way that matters. Everybody, please give it up for Mr. James Bracken.
Hello, everyone. My name is James Bracken, and I'm a recent graduate of the Prince George Community College Commercial Driver's License Program. I wanted to share a little of my story and why I'm so grateful to have accomplished this goal at PGCC. Now, at 70 years young, I'm a U.S. Army veteran, a U.S. Postal Service retiree, and an HBCU graduate, and as well a lifelong learner. I came to this metropolitan area over 40 years ago, got married and parented 2 children. My wife, my children's mother, is now deceased. As wisdom tells us, never forget where you came from. I've long had a strong desire to give back to the community that helped raise and guide me, a small town called Jonesville, Louisiana. So I pursued the CDL program at PGCC in pursuit of my quest to build modern-looking, affordable housing in my hometown. Now having my own Class A commercial driver's license and planning to become an owner-operator to help build the economy of the great state of Maryland and our country at large, I can directly impact supply transportation costs of the construction project, which I will also act as a general contractor over. So now I'm one step closer to achieving that goal. It was Earl Nightingale who often said, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal." Well, I am still setting new goals and making progress towards accomplishing each one of them. It gives me great joy to know that others will be supported in their dreams just as I have been supported, thanks to PGCC and the generous donors who provided me with the financial assistance as a U.S. veteran. I would also like to thank our U.S. Department of Transportation for its commitment to the American people and our economy. So, without further ado, I'd like to extend a warm Prince George's Community College welcome to the U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg.
Thank you very much, and good morning. James, thank you for sharing your story. It's a reminder of why we're doing this work, and I think all of us are inspired by your continued progress and rooting for your success, so thank you. And thanks and congratulations to all of the current and former students who have benefited from this program, and thanks for being part of this today. This is a great day for us because we believe in community colleges, we believe in veterans, and we believe in the importance of trucking for the country, for our economic security, and for our future. I want to thank my own colleagues from Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, led by Robin Hutchinson, who live and breathe the safety and well-being of America's truck driving workforce. I want to thank Dr. Johnson and everybody from Prince George Community College for the excellent work that you're doing and for hosting us. I want to thank my friend Patrick Murphy for the outstanding work that he has done, service upon service, service as a veteran and service to his fellow veterans, making sure that they succeed. I do feel a little bit surrounded by all these Army types, but I'm going to let it go just this once. It's good to be with people from all of these other wonderful branches of the military that are almost as good as the Navy. And Governor Moore, it's such a pleasure to be with the governor. You in Maryland have a governor who understands the importance of infrastructure and of transportation in people's everyday lives. And when you have that kind of quality of leadership, it makes it a lot easier for us to be good partners at the federal level. And so we're thrilled about all of the things we're working together on. And congratulations on the fantastic start that you and your outstanding team are up to, Governor. Glad to be with you. And again, we're just so excited to be here to recognize and celebrate the drivers who are such a critical part of America's supply chains and economies. Nobody would ever want to go through again what our country went through 2 or 3 years ago. But one good thing that came of it is that the term supply chain went from being something that just a few of us logistics buffs and transportation professionals cared about and thought about, to being kitchen table talk. People began to understand the importance of supply chains when those supply chains that we count on every single day came under the stress that they were put under by the pandemic. And the most important thing that America saw about our supply chains was that the most important link in them wasn't vehicles or roads or bridges or tunnels, although we're proud of the work we're doing to improve our roads and bridges and tunnels, but it was people. It was very clearly the people that we count on that America belatedly learned to describe as essential workers. And it doesn't get much more essential than a truck driver. And yet, our department estimates that hundreds of thousands of drivers are leaving this vital profession every year, which has two implications. First, that we can and must step up our efforts to support this profession. And two, that we have to step up our efforts to call more people into it, because these are literally the workers who keep our nation moving. And I can't think of any category of people better qualified to do those vital jobs than veterans, because service members understand what it means to do whatever it takes to fulfill a mission and get people and things safely where they need to go. During my own deployment, I was stationed in Kabul and often found myself responsible for getting gear and members of my unit and sometimes my commander either around the city of Kabul or on the highway out to Bagram and back. We called it military Uber. And what I saw, of course, was that so many of the people, many of whom would volunteer to go outside the wire with me, because the number of people I needed to go on these missions was always fewer than the number of people that I was actually in charge of, that they were ready to go getting everything to where it needed to be because they knew it was vitally important. And that's exactly the kind of orientation and exactly the kind of skill set that we need here. I'm not saying you need to have been driving a vehicle around Afghanistan or Iraq to be a great truck driver, but I do know that the kinds of people who have worn our country's uniform are among the kinds of people we need to be calling into this vitally important work. Among a whole range of Americans who could benefit from the great career opportunities that trucking offers and meet a vital national need. I often remind people that if you enjoyed the food you had for breakfast this morning, the clothes that you're wearing right now, or the phone in your pocket, then you have a whole bunch of truck drivers to thank for getting it to you. That's why we're so proud of this program, which is awarding millions of dollars to community colleges around the country to provide no-cost training to veterans and their family members. And right here at Prince George's, that funding is going to pay for dozens of students to get 6 weeks of hands-on, one-on-one training like what we saw demonstrated just a few minutes ago. And I'll add that the students who train here in this program have an outstanding completion rate, going on to find work in the trucking industry. And this is one of dozens of training programs that we've awarded funding to in the last couple years alone. In fact, Patrick and I recently were at a similar program in Pennsylvania. We're funding a program at the Community College of Baltimore County, and so many more around the country. And all of this is coming through President Biden's historic infrastructure law, which in addition to transforming those roads and rail and bridges and tunnels and ports and airports, is creating a new generation of jobs and setting America up to have to ask the question, not where is the work going to come from? That's not our problem at the moment. But where are the qualified and skilled workers going to come from? And you here are the answer to that burning question. Now, before the infrastructure law passed, even if a school qualified for these grants, students would still have to cover a lot of the tuition. Here at Prince George's, that comes roughly to about $4,000, which is a great deal, but a lot of people don't have $4,000 sitting around so that they can train for a job that they don't even have yet. So this program is going to make it possible for drivers, including veterans who might not have been able to take that risk, might not have been able to afford it on their own, get that start in those new careers in this great and growing field and serve our country in a whole new way. And everywhere I go, I meet people whose lives are transformed by this program, like James, like Matt, who I met at when we were at Lehigh Carbon Community College, who came out of active service in the Navy, was a medic overseas, and just couldn't find himself fitting in to a steady job until he discovered the opportunity to train for a job in trucking. And as he put it, he found meaning in this profession because he knows how important it is to bring people the food and the clothes and the medicine that they need. And I know how many veterans would say the same. So what I would challenge everybody to do the next time you see a truck go by on the road is to remember that that vehicle isn't just delivering sweaters or cereal or TV sets. It's delivering prosperity. It's delivering the needed access to supply chains that is an important, very important part of our fight against inflation. And it is delivering opportunity to that qualified person behind the wheel. And while serving in the military and serving as a civilian truck driver are different, they're not that different in the specific sense that lives depend on people safely doing that job every single day, which is why we're here. It's what you're part of, and it's why we are proud to support you. So congratulations, thank you, and keep up the great work. A very candid staff member of mine once said to me that sometimes my subtlety is too subtle. So we have decided not to be too subtle today and make sure that everybody recognizes that we have cause for celebration by making presentations of the funding that is going to this very worthy effort. And we'll do a presentation first to Prince George Community College and then to Baltimore Community College in recognition of their great work. So let me first invite our PGCC friends to come up, and we will do the honors.
Dania, Angela, Mr. Gibson, Dina.
Let's come up here so we, so that we can get a photo.
Michael Smith. Michael Smith. Hi.
And folks from Baltimore Community College, want to come up? Come on up.
Assistant Dean.
Air Force, 810. Ah, here we go. Thanks for serving.
Actually, I was talking.
Air Force veteran going to Baltimore Community College. Sure.
I like the Navy, almost got it. My best friend got in the Navy.
that's a good reason not to be in the Navy then. Although you could wind up like me doing Army stuff, which is what the Navy had to do. So that as well.
What Uncle Sam tells you.
Yeah, exactly. The needs of the Navy is this. Great people.
Hello, everyone. This was an awesome time together today. Thank you all, and especially Secretary Pete Buttigieg and our Governor Wes Moore for your presence. Yes, let's give them applause. For your presence and continued support of Prince George's Community College. From our student speaker, Mr. James Brackens, and his story, you can see the direct impact and ripple effect of our collaborative efforts that we make in our community and beyond. Let us all continue to persevere and prosper to improve our community. Thank you all for coming. This concludes our program. Thank you.
While you were ahead.